Of the Kearney School District Board of Education meeting, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Here.
Meredith here. John Curry.
Here.
Bruce Schweitzer. Here. Nick Vasquez.
Here.
Here.
Here. Adopt and amend the agenda.
Move the agenda be approved as presented.
Second. All in favor? I forgot to state that we have a quorum. We have a quorum. All right. First item of business tonight is our tax rate hearing.
Move to set the tax levy for operations at $3.42 and debt service at $1.19 for a total levy of $4.61
Second. Do we have conversation about this before we vote? We don't have that. What, you want to do the presentation? Yep, presentation, I don't.
Sorry, I kind of jumped on that. Was I?
Okay, no, we make the motion and then we do the presentation.
So we've just got a brief presentation for you this evening, and so one of the things that we've done is really tried to, if you'll go to the next slide, Ryan, is take a look at the 2023 assessed valuation by type. So really, we take a look at real estate, primarily in Kearney residential, personal property, and we need to take a look at both Clay County and Clinton County. So if you look at the combined real estate and personal property for Clay County, it's over 526 million. Clinton County, it's a little over 22 million. So for a total assessed valuation, $549,023,109. So that is a 12% increase in assessed valuation over 2022, which was a little over 490 million. So keep in mind, reassessment years happen in odd number years, so next year will not be a reassessment year. So we typically see the larger spikes in reassessment years. So we look at, there's actually 4 different classifications when you look at assessed value. Residential is assessed at 19%, commercial is assessed at 32%, agriculture at 12%, and personal property at 33.33%. So this is the actual calculation for property owners, and I think we tend to get quite a few questions about impact of taxes. So really, the county provides you a market value number, and then you would apply or multiply that by your classification percentage. If it was house, it'd be 19%, and that gives you the total assessed value. And you would take that, you'd multiply that by the levy rate, and then divide it by 100, and that actually gives you your tax bill. So next slide. So this is how the local revenue, where it comes from. You can see here, 393 million for residential, a little over 103 million for personal property. We get very little for local utility. Commercial is almost 49 million, and less than 1% for agriculture. So this is an example of what the tax calculation would be like. So if you have a market value home of $250,000, you multiply that by 19%, that would give you an assessed value of $47,500. You take that and multiply that by the new 2023 tax rate, which is that 4.6192, divide it by 100, and that would give you the 2023 tax bill, $2,194. And if you take a look at the 22 tax rate, you'd go through that same calculation, and it was at a higher tax rate, 478.78. Now, so if your assessed value stayed the exact same, the rate would be, your tax bill would be lower. We know that most homeowners experienced an increase, so we put a little bullet at the bottom. So if your home actually experienced a 10% assessed valuation increase, you would still experience a slight difference or slight increase in taxes of approximately $139. So we thought it was important to show you if the tax rate remained the same, the tax bill would actually be lower, but given current market conditions, give you what that would actually look like. We will receive some additional revenue even though our tax rate is decreasing. So the revenue increase due to reassessment is $918,166. Again, the total assessed valuation increase was about 12%. So again, we take into consideration what's happening with inflation. This year, inflation was very high, 6.5%. Now, the Hancock Amendment caps us at receiving no more than 5% revenue increase plus new construction. So the revenue increase due to new construction was $272,712. And again, that can be applied to our general or incidental fund for both of those. Revenue increase for debt service, which can only be used to pay down our debt, is a little over $700,000. So our additional operational revenue is $1,190,878. So again, just kind of to reiterate and summarize, the general fund is actually decreasing by 0.1686. Revenue increases are attributed due to inflation. Again, we're limited to just capping that at 5%. And again, that's not due to a tax rate change. It's due to the increase in assessed valuation. One of the things that I don't think that we talk about enough is Kearney School District voluntarily rolls back its debt service levy. Last year, we rolled back 80 cents of our debt service levy. This year, we're proposing to roll back 54 cents. So again, I don't know that our patrons are aware that we've done that year over year for a number of years. And that's at local discretion. So your debt service levy is not regulated by the Hancock Amendment in the same way that your operational fund is. So there's opportunity in the future if the board wanted to reevaluate its tax policy. Not recommending that for this evening, but just really wanted to bring that forward to you just for awareness and consideration for future. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Okay. There is an opportunity for public questions and comment, but I don't believe we had anyone sign up for that. So we're ready to vote?
We do need a roll call on
That's what I thought. So roll call, please.
Len Broughton,
Yes.
Meredith Cole,
Yes.
John Kern,
Yes.
Reese Schweitzer,
Yes.
Nick Vaskus,
Yes.
Susan Mormon,
Yes.
Darlene Bailey.
Yes. Ginger, thank you for all your hard work on this, and Dr. Miller, I know that it took a lot of time, and we did delay the board meeting a week because you didn't get the information in a very timely fashion. So we appreciate all your hard work on this, and I hope that if there are questions that I know Dr. Miller will be ready to answer those if there are questions either from folks here or elsewhere. So,
Absolutely.
thank you.
And wouldn't we encourage people to call the school,
Yes,
email
absolutely.
the school, communicate with us? We're the ones that can help with that information so that people are aware of what we're trying to do, because I think that we work really hard to be transparent and to share all the data with our patrons. So I would hope that they would reach out. Ray, the email is it communications@ksdr1.net? Is that correct? Okay.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Don't believe we have any public comment tonight either. So we'll move on to school spotlight.
So Kearney High School is scheduled for our school spotlight tonight. So as you are aware, the Powder Puff game is also scheduled for this evening. So because we rescheduled our meeting, they have provided us with a video. We actually had two videos, one from Mrs. Salmonson's class and one from Mrs. Stevenson's class. Ray edited it down for the purposes of the board meeting tonight, but both full, complete videos will be attached to the board agenda following this meeting.
My name is Mindy Salmonson. I am education internship teacher at the high school, and super excited to talk to you about our program and what we've got going on with these education kiddos. Okay, so I currently have 9 students in the program. This being our first year with the Pathways, was super excited to get 9 kiddos involved. I've also started the Educators Rising chapter for our school, and so this is our first year for that too. Super excited. We are just getting our feet wet with it. I'm still learning very much as we go with this program, but I do know that there are competitions that we're going to enter at the state level. We'll see what happens if we go to the national level or not, but I've listed some of the different competitions that they can enter. And then the one I'm really excited about is they can create a PSA about teacher recruitment. And so if we don't enter any other competition, we will be entering that one, just so we can hopefully get these kiddos back in to do some student teaching after graduation, and hire them potentially. We are offering dual credit for this class through UCM, so we will do that enrollment in the spring. So they will spend the whole year with me in the classroom, and then in the spring we will get them signed up for those who want to go through that dual credit program. They will leave with 4 hours of college credits. We just a couple weeks ago applied for the Carl Perkins grant. It's a grow your own grant. It's awarded to 125 schools. It's $10,000. This class is also offered as an MVA because of the internship. So my kids will all get their MVA for the internship, and then the ones who sign up for dual credit can then also get those 4 hours of dual credit to put toward 9 hours of dual credit for another MVA. So it's a great opportunity for these kids. Planning on bringing in some guest speakers. You guys are all sitting right there watching this. So Dr. Miller and Dr. Parks were actually in my classroom today talking to my kids about their philosophy of education. I plan on bringing Dr. McMains in the next couple of months and having him kind of go through the hiring process, what that looks like to them. And then next semester, I would like to invite the board to come in and talk to my kids about your role in the education system, kind of your why as well. So here's my placement this year. You can kind of just read through that and see where we've got kids. So just to go quickly through some of the future ideas, Stacy Holtzclaw and I and my kids are going to go into the 10th and 11th grade history classes this January when we start enrollment, and just kind of sell the program to them and let them know that the program even exists. We're going to have we're going to have a college signing day, just like we do for our athletes, but we're going to do it for our kids who are graduating with us and pursuing an education degree at a university, whether it's one of the ones that we visit. It doesn't matter where it is. We just want to celebrate those kids and let them know that we support them throughout this whole process. I also plan to mentor these graduates, our graduates, all throughout college too. So I plan to meet with them in December and just kind of check in with them, talk to them about what their first semester of college looked like, check in again with them in the summer. My goal is to work with them for those 4 years and then bring them back for student teaching.
Hi, my name is Samantha Swafford. I'm an intern at Kearney Elementary with 2nd grade. My favorite part about the internship program is that you get into the classroom before you even graduate, which a lot of people don't get that experience.
Hi, I'm Brooke Llewellyn. I am an intern at Kearney Junior High with 8th and 9th grade PE.
My favorite thing I've learned so far is that putting kids in groups together with people they work well with helps the PE class run more smoothly. Hi, my name is Madison Garden-Schwab, and I am an intern at Hawthorne Elementary with third graders, and I really enjoy this program. I love being in the classroom with all those students and helping them learn and get better every day.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mrs. Stevens, and I am one of the Kearney High School internship teachers this year. So far, our program's off to a really great start. Our students are fully immersed into their internships, and they're all over the place, which is pretty awesome. We do have a new program this year. It is the Banking and Finance strand with Kearney Trust. Students are able to receive a teller certification through that program, which is pretty awesome for that entry-level position. It's cool to see some of the positive interactions, and I really do think that the Kearney internship program is something that is great for our students as far as the opportunity.
Good evening. My name is Aspen Kelly, and I'm currently a senior at Kearney High School. I also am enrolled in the Kearney Internship Program. I am trying to pursue cosmetology, so I am placed at a hair salon called Moxie by Casey. It is located in Gladstone, and they offer things like curly hair services, blonding hair services, and extensions. It has been a very great and amazing experience, from meeting the owner of the salon to seeing what all the assistants do in the salon. They are very hard workers, and it's a very fun and including environment.
Hello, my name is JP Filger. I am a senior at Kearney High School. I am currently enrolled in the internships here, and one is real estate that's getting set up right now, and I have an interview tomorrow. And one is with Kearney Trust Banking, right next to Sonic here in Kearney. And I'm right now getting my bank teller certification. I've spent 2 days with them, and it's been a really good experience meeting the CEO, all the workers, kind of getting the in and outs of the business. And that's how I am so far. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Amanda Tran. I'm a senior in high school and enrolled in the Kearney Internship Program. I'm currently placed with Snyder and Associates in Gladstone, which is the land surveying company. I'm working under Zachary Brinker and currently the CAD program and looking at the different calculations that go into surveying and leveling out the land and all that stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how it is working as an engineer in the field. I am interested in being an aerospace engineer, and even though this isn't exactly what entails with being an aerospace engineer, I'm excited to see what exactly goes into being an engineer.
Visiting with all the future educators, and several of them took the time to say this is really what I felt compelled to do for many years, and I just wanted to try it out now before I went to college. And that's the type of risk we want to have all of our students do and embark on. So it was a great, well time spent.
Awesome. That's great. Okay, consent agenda.
Move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Information items, financials.
You have the August financial reports in your packet. At this point in time, it's pretty early in the school year. Here to entertain any questions that you might have. Next month, we will be bringing budget amendment for your review.
All right. Thank you. Approval of revised miscellaneous salary schedule. Oh, project. Bond, oh, did I miss? What did I miss? Wait a minute.
Project update.
Bill- Okay, sorry. I'm not very good at, I want a Mac, please. Yes.
All right.
Go, bond project. Sorry.
So back to kind of share some final photos, and everybody's lived in the spaces for a little while. So kind of start with Early Education Center. So here's some fun final photos of kind of the multi-purpose space. Let's go to the next one. Classroom moved in. Everything seems to be going well in the EEC. We've kind of wrapped up all the punch list items, but except for wall coverings, which go in this weekend. So those go in some of the common spaces. So we've had our team, both Derek and Evan, just kind of checking in with people, making sure, you know, as little things come up, questions or tweak this, they've been doing it, but so far so good there. Let's go to the next one. Middle school restrooms. No complaints from my daughter at this point yet, so I think those are working okay. And theater. So this is kind of the last one to wrap up. So it's in really good shape. This is obviously looking towards the stage. So all the final finishes are complete. Technology's up and running. All the speaker systems work. The lighting systems work and are in good shape. We've done kind of the brief training with the systems with the staff, but then there's several hour-long training that they've already got scheduled, so things are in really good shape there. And I got one more of the theater, so this is kind of looking back at the seats. I love the purple carpet. I think it looks sharp, but so far so good as far as using the space. So feel really good about where things are. The roof, they've done the final walkthrough at the junior high roof also, and warranties are in place for that thing. So yeah, it's kind of a good news update, and we're just taking care of little things as they do come up. But yeah, all good things. So that's this summer's work, and then I think Kevin's going to talk about upcoming stuff.
You might as well stand up here so we can talk a little bit about. We may use colors because you can't read some of the designations in there. But what we wanted to share with you tonight is we have shared with you a little bit of the early design work that we were doing early in schematics, and what we did was we put that together, and Ben and his team put dollars to those things so we can make sure we're in some kind of a close proximity to the budgets, and we are. And so what we've done is we sat down and looked at what can actually get done over the next 2 years. And the top schedule that we're looking at, just that bar chart, the gray is schematic design. Schematic design is that time of period where we just basically find out what it is you're looking for. That's when we started talking about the collaborative spaces and what other things could we do in the existing elementary schools, and how could we grow them to be in very similar sizes. Design development, next phase of design development is where we'll take that and put that together, and then we'll get back with our design teams to make sure we're doing all the things right. So we're focusing in on the design, and then in the construction documents phase, we end up actually doing the documents. We actually put together the instructions on how to help actually build facilities, and then we'll bid those. So what you're looking at in that upper bar chart is by December 15th, the intent is that we have looked at how do we, between now and time that it needs to be bid, so that we can order materials and get that ready for the summer because we'll be in another summer time frame to actually get work done. We
This is
identify.
for Southview.
Yes,
That's
and
the
so,
first one.
so we looked at where should we do that best, and Southview was the likely candidate because of the work that we're going to be doing. That there is probably just a little bit less than some of the other ones, just because there's a lot of more space at Southview than there is at some of the other schools, as well as we're growing the others a little bit more. So what we're intending to do is to have all those documents ready on December 15th, so that Ben can look at those and get those ready, so that he can put those out to bid. You might talk a little bit about, because some of this is, we look at the end and we back it up and say, okay, when do we have to have our work done?
Yeah. So this one will be similar to kind of this summer's work in that we're going to try to bid it in the month of January and bring it to the February board meeting. So that does a lot of things. It lets us start ordering materials right after the February approval and gives us a couple months to get them coming to make sure that we have them in the summer. And then we think it's a very manageable load of work next summer, so it makes a lot of sense. And then I'll let you talk about the next.
Sure. And during that same time frame, one of the things that we are doing is furniture in each one of the buildings. And so we've got to get that ordered also, because furniture is a long lead time, especially most schools do their changing out of furniture every summer. We're going to see the same kind of thing. So we'd like to get that ordered before the end of the year also. So that's Southview. What we're going to be doing with the other three schools is about halfway through this process, somewhere in November, we'll jump back on, because we've really gone through the schematics in each one of the buildings, but we're going to focus on Southview to kind of create some of the characteristics that we're going to be doing in every one of the buildings and kind of set that precedent. But in November, we'll start back focusing on the schematics on the other three. We'll be working through design development, which is bringing that all up, bringing some of the staff back together so we can talk to them a little bit more about their each and individual building, because every one of the buildings has got a different characteristic that we'll be working through. And then we'll be creating those documents that'll be somewhere in the April time frame, and then we'll be getting that work out to bid.
And those packages likely will probably start that work right around the 1st of September. So it's good when you're in school construction mode. If we're doing additions, it's good to kind of start those out of the summer, because a lot of those trade partners get really busy over the summer. And so it's a really attractive package for those schools to kind of start when their summer work cools off. So that'll help get a lot of bids for those packages. So we think timing's good there, and that kind of lets us, at those three schools, build the additions throughout the school year, have the addition kind of ready when summer starts, and then you go do the renovations inside. So you kind of got one piece of the project done.
So you're going to do Hawthorne and Southview at the same time?
Only Southview this next summer.
Okay, I said that wrong. You're going to do Kearney Elementary and Hawthorne at the same time?
And Dogwood.
And Dogwood. Okay.
I'm just curious why you wouldn't start with a building with the highest need for space and renovation.
Well, and you can add on to this, but unfortunately what happens is our summer, our building time is the summer, starting with the most, let's say for instance, Kearney. If we started with Kearney, we would have to have a little bit longer design time here to get those documents done, to be able to get that building going. So we would push it off, and we wouldn't be able to make this summer with doing some of that work at Kearney. And at Kearney, for instance, one of the things is that we're going to building the space to be able to transfer students into that building and getting it ready. Again, those are two summers. We would miss this first summer of '24 most likely, because we'd be outside working. And we'd have to put all of the interior stuff next year too. So it's a little bit about, primary about design time to get the documents done to make that happen.
Yeah, if we, to kind of touch on that, we would want to be kind of awarding packages right now for an addition so that we can get building right now, and we're just kind of at the schematic level, and so just timing doesn't work great for those bigger additions at the moment. So.
And they're more complex, right? When you're doing an addition into a building, it takes more time schematically to get the drawings from the old building to the new building, and it takes a little bit more. It's more of a challenge, not that it's harder, but it's more challenging. Is that accurate?
That is true, and what we want to do is we want to take a little bit longer time because we're out, even if we've done some 3D scans of the buildings, we'll even go back out and we'll measure those things ourselves, just because we want to make sure. If I say I'm going to put 21 feet of millwork on a wall, I want to make sure that there's actually 21 feet there and not 18, because then that just backs us up during construction. So
We also thought there was some benefit in doing Southview first. The scope of work is much smaller compared to Kearney Elementary. So again, the timeline is a real issue if we were trying to push on Kearney Elementary. But I also think that the 4 elementary schools will have some mutual planning, so that while each school is unique, we want some consistency in decisions, so there's a consistent feel. So whether it's furniture design standards, so we can have some collaboration on what furniture will look like, and there'll be similar elements in all 4 schools. And it just allows us to front load that work with a smaller project, and which will translate to the other 3.
And you'll bring that as a package to your subs, so for Kearney Elementary and Hawthorne, or will you break those out?
We're going to analyze that a little bit. We will probably separate it and give people the opportunity to look at it a couple different ways. Because sometimes, for some people, 3 schools is more attractive because they can be efficient and come do one to the next. For smaller contractors, it may not be. So I want to test the market a little bit as the design evolves and get some feedback from the trade partners, and then we'll do it accordingly. But we got flexibility to bid it a lot of different ways. So we just want to do the one that we think will get the most competition.
okay. And the good thing is that we'll be finishing the work on Southview at the same time that we would start. As Ben said, we'll be starting some of the other work. So it's good for them to roll off of a project onto another project, and they will already have known that they've got the work, which is what they're going to be looking at and saying, this is awesome. I get to stay in one location. If it's a concrete guy, if it's a steel guy, whoever it is, drywall person, I get to stay in one location for almost 2 years. So.
I will say, and just being fully transparent, opening 3 buildings at the start of the school year will be a challenge, and we have to know that now and plan for it now and have contingencies in place.
But it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting to invest in our kids. So, I mean, thanks for the hard work.
Sure, sure.
Thank you, thank you.
Great. Thank you all. Okay, I'm in the right spot. I'm now ready for action items.
Move to approve board policies G150P and S145P on the first reading as presented.
Second.
So based on what we've done in the past, do we have to remove, are these new policies that are not replacing old ones?
It's my understanding that, well, you might want to speak to this, but it was my understanding that as we did the first group and then we took a deep administrative dive this past year, you might remember in a board update, they talked about some of the work that Becky had done. And I think this is a result of that, isn't it? These 2 policies in particular, to make sure we're consistent with what we passed and our administrative procedures are consistent with our policies.
So I didn't ask the question right. So we had a conversation about policies and reading policies, and that if there's an existing policy in place, that we had to remove it and readopt. And so should we change the verbiage on this piece because it needs to be, we're removing
No, because we're gonna have a second reading, because you guys still want to do a second reading,
So-
so we would do that on our second reading.
So we'll do it on the second reading.
Correct.
Okay.
I wasn't getting what you were saying, but yeah, we would do that in the next month.
Okay. I just noticed and I
Yes.
didn't want us to.
Good question.
Until you said at the end. how it
That makes sense.
Yes.
All right, very good.
Not arguing the policy. We're good.
No, no, Okay, thanks, John.
Yeah.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. All right, next, we have approval of the reading position.
Move to approve an additional part-time reading position for the 2023-2024 school year as presented.
Second.
Second.
All right.
So we are proposing adding an additional supplemental reading position at Lynn's. As you know, Lynn's has qualified as a title building due to some of the instructional needs in that building. And Mrs. Kopp and the academic services team, along with Dr. Parks, have been thinking about how to address those needs of those kids, and they've asked to hire additional personnel. Now, normally we wouldn't add additional personnel to our budget. But we would be using ESSER 3 funds, which if we don't spend those federal funds, we'll end up losing them. This is not a position we plan on sustaining. This will be a temporary position, and we've let the person know that we're going to recommend after, hopefully, approval of the position, that is the case as well. So I'd welcome any questions about any other reasoning for the proposal.
How part-time is part-time? On it, this is part-time. So how, does that mean half-time? Is that?
It'd be a 550 position, yes, yep. So about 15 hours a week is what we normally call part-time. Yeah, 30 hours would be considered full-time.
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Move to approve new hire Valerie Hanson. Is that correct? As presented?
Second.
All right, so for the position we just approved, and this is why we're doing this in open session, we wanted to make sure that we had an approved position before we approve the person going into the position. So Ms. Hanson is a retired KSD teacher, excellent teacher. Yes. We'll highly recommend her to provide the reading support that those kids need at Lynn's.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Did we vote on approving the reading position? Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, bill payment?
Together. Move to approve bill payment to Tim Cole Contracting as presented.
Second. Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. Board member comments? White group, John?
I got one, just one. So I actually forgot this and I went back and got it. So September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And I always wear my pen. Not going to talk too much about why. But it's important to me that everybody that has a child that has cancer knows that as a board member, I'm aware and I care deeply and I'm always praying for those families. And yeah, so I just want to make sure that anybody that needs it knows it, that I'm thinking of.
Thank you. All right, moving ahead. Important dates. Homecoming is this weekend, half day, and the parade is at 2 o'clock. And then the football game is that night, and the festivities. October 4th will be early release. October 12th, we'll have a board work session in the evening, and October 18th is our next board meeting. Miscellaneous.
Action for closed session to immediately precede the regular meeting in October, including any record or vote to discuss items and issues allowable under Section 610-021 of the Missouri Sunshine Law.
Second. Roll call, please.
Len Broughton?
Yes.
Meredith Cole?
Yes.
John Kern?
Yes.
Bruce Switzer?
Yes.
Nick Vaskus?
Yes.
Susan Morman?
Yes.
Darlene Bailey?
Yes. We're adjourned. Thank you.